The current study, the proposed study, is an empirical study along the same line of research in order to test or substantiate that tentative writing model by extending the notion of formal schematic construction. So the formal schemata, that's only one dimension, the formal textual aspect, one dimension of a composition. And then I would like to expand that to content, formal, and linguistic schemata, 3 dimensions, 3 aspects of schemata. This study aims to introduce the schema theory to composition pedagogy. And I try to apply schema theory in a local context in China, in college in China. Based on the principles of schema theory, I designed a series of activities to teach English writing by helping the EFL students construct and activate their content, formal, and linguistic schemata in English. The current study attempts to investigate the effectiveness of a schema-based approach by comparing the writing performance of 2 groups of participants, one a control group, the other experimental group. So this is an experimental study. In addition, I am also interested in how the students' perceptions and attitudes towards reading and writing change or not, or whether they change or not as a result of the experiment. So one thing is the effectiveness of the pedagogy, and then the other thing is how their perceptions of reading and writing will change as a result of the pedagogical intervention. Significance. If data analysis suggests that there are differences between the writing performance of the experimental group and control group, then that means, if that is that difference is statistically significant, and that means the pedagogy is effective. The pedagogy, the schema-based approach is effective. Theoretically, schema theory could be used to enrich composition theories by considering the learner's background knowledge of contents, rhetorical structure, and language in both their first language and their second language. In addition, the notion of a schema construction might provide insights into the interaction of the 3 fundamental dimensions of a composition, namely the text, the cognition, and the context of a composition. When textual, content, and linguistic schemata are constructive and activated in specific contexts of writing. Here are the definition of some technical terms. Schema refers to a mental framework for understanding and remembering information. And more recently, Sweller has a new definition of a schema, 1994. Sweller defines schema as a cognitive construct that organizes the elements of information according to the manner in which they will be dealt. Content schema refers to the background knowledge of the content of the topic. Formal schemata refer to the background knowledge of rhetorical structures and the conventions of writing. Linguistic schemata refers to the background knowledge of linguistic features of a piece of writing. A review of literature. In this study, I reviewed the literature, for example, the main approaches us to English composition, the 4 approaches, author approach, process approach, post-process approach, and the genre approach. And constructivism is the theoretical framework of a schema theory. Constructivist learning theories, schema theory. 3 types of schemata in reading research: content, formal, and linguistic schemata. Interestingly, a lot of the time, when it comes to the criteria for evaluating and grading an essay, content, organization, and language are the most important areas to assess the student's writing performance, right? Content comes first, yeah. And then organization or the rhetorical structure, and then language, including grammar and mechanics. Yeah, language and mechanics. So it is interesting that 3 areas of evaluation correspond to the 3 areas of the schema theory: content schema, formal schema, and linguistic schema. Yeah. So there is a match of that, of both. 3 types of schemata. And then the connections between reading and writing. Yeah, I reviewed the literature on reading-writing connections. Text conviction and contexts, formal schemata construction, empirical studies. Yeah. Here are a little bit more further information on the literature. Back in the late 1990s, some researchers in China, they tried to introduce schema theory to EFL writing. B1998 discussed the relationship between schema and EFL writing, the role of schema in the writing process, and how to tackle the problems the students encounter in writing. The last decade saw more efforts along this line of research. The most recent one being 2010. Yeah. And then in America, there are also some research studies on schema theory, but mostly focused on reading research, yeah, schema theory. Carroll is a big name in this area of research. And then this one is about reading-writing connection, Carson and her colleagues, 1990. Given that connection between reading and writing, it might be possible to apply schema theory to writing instruction as well. In other countries, besides China and America, I also find some research with regards to schema theory and composition, but not much research. And below are some research. This one, Batman and Ham, 2008, and then this 2007, 1999, and then 2007 again, and then I also wrote 2 essays, 2 articles on this topic. The research questions for this study, there will be 2 groups of students in the proposed study. One is the control group. They are going to receive traditional method of teaching EFL writing in the course College English in China. And then the other group is the experimental group. They are going to receive the schema-based approach to writing. In the schema-based approach, the students will learn how to analyze the reading text for writing purpose. So that's how reading and writing connected. Yeah. They will also learn how to construct and activate 3 types of schemata for writing: content, formal, and linguistic schemata. So these are the following research questions. It will be used to guide the study. The first question: will the experimental group score significantly higher than the control group on the time essay exam by holistic assessment? So in the first research question is trying to investigate the effectiveness of the schema-based approach. Yeah, effectiveness by a time essay. And then the second is the question, how will the experimental group members' perceptions of and attitudes towards reading and writing